President Trump says these tariffs will help American farmers and ranchers, but farmers and ag economists tell me they're worried, and they think this will not only hurt California farmers, but also California consumers at the grocery store.
Despite Donald Trump blinking on a bunch of the big disastrous tariffs on the whole world, including Madagascar and the island with the penguins, he announced today he's not just maintaining but increasing his tariffs on China, which is one of our largest trading partners.
President Trump claims his tariffs will boost American farmers, but growers and economists are sounding alarms, warning that these policies are hurting not just California's agriculture, but also shoppers at the checkout. While Trump backed off some sweeping tariffs on countries like Madagascar and Antarctica, today he doubled down, hiking tariffs on China, a key U.S. trade partner. As a result, U.S. wheat exports are being shunned, with global buyers flocking to Canada's markets. What's happening to American agriculture? How massive is this shift? Tonight, a subtle but seismic change is unfolding. Across the fields of Montana, the orchards of Washington, and the plains of Texas, a quiet crisis grows. No headlines, no protests, just farmers watching their silos fill and orders vanish. Once their wheat fed the world, now it sits unsold. America's wheat, once a global staple, is no longer a guarantee, it's a gamble. Smash that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. This isn't a market blip, it's a global realignment, a loss of faith, not funds. Buyers aren't leaving with loud complaints, they're slipping away quietly, one contract at a time. Nations are turning not to Iowa or Idaho, but to Alberta, New South Wales, or the Black Sea. The shift isn't dramatic, it's final. Let's start in the Philippines, a longtime buyer of U.S. wheat, importing nearly 3 million tons annually, with 90% from America for decades. But in 2025, that share plummeted. A 15,000-ton deal was canceled, and a 100,000-ton order went to Canada and Australia instead. If you're finding value in this, hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel grow. Filipino importers cited costs, but privately they admitted it's about reliability. U.S. wheat shipments arrived late, insurance costs spiked, and trade policies caused delays. One policy shift could strand cargo for weeks. It's too unpredictable, one buyer said. Even if it's cheaper, it's not worth the risk. Kansas rail yards are quiet. North Dakota trains sit idle. Grain stocks are up 40%, piling up in silos. Farmers in Oklahoma are burning crops, not in protest, but because there's no market. No one's buying, one grower said, I'll plow it under, yet Manila's shelves remain stocked with Canadian grain. Pandazol prices stabilized after a brief surge using Canada's wheat. No fanfare, no announcements, just a silent pivot. Then there's France, where bread is a cultural cornerstone. For years, U.S. hard wheat was a staple for its baguettes. But in 2025, French imports of U.S. wheat hit a 20-year low. Contracts once filled by Nebraska now go to Canadian prairies. Even during France's own poor harvests, U.S. wheat didn't sell. Regulatory hurdles, missing certifications, and high carbon scores made buyers wary. A single tariff change could halt a shipment, so France quietly switched suppliers. Kansas co-ops scaled back, leaving thousands of tons unsold. Farmers halted expansions. France moved on. Canada, meanwhile, is thriving. Its EU exports jumped 40% from 2024, with France leading the charge. Canadian wheat is reliable. Moisture tracked in real time, protein levels guaranteed, deliveries on schedule. Baguettes taste the same, only the source changed. In South Korea, the story shifts. For decades, U.S. wheat fueled its noodle and bread industries, powering brands like Nongshim and Orion. But from late 2024 to mid-2025, U.S. market share dropped from 35% to 17%, while Canada's soared to 60%. Why? Glyphosate residues in U.S. wheat exceeded South Korea's new limits of 200-400 parts per billion compared to Canada's 30-70. Korean firms made a quiet choice, erasing U.S. wheat from contracts. By June, U.S. shipments vanished from Incheon ports, replaced by Canadian grain. Washington state saw inventories rise 36%. Idaho farmers switched to barley. No press releases, just decisions. Mexico, a close ally, tells a painful story. For years, over 3 million tons of U.S. wheat crossed the border. But by mid-2025, imports fell nearly 40%. Canada's share rose 35% with Argentina gaining ground. Mexican buyers grew frustrated with delays, paperwork, and shifting tariff rules. A single holdup at the Arizona border stalled mills in Chihuahua. Canadian wheat offered consistency. No surprises, no politics. Manitoba warehouses added testing lines for Mexico's standards. Texas blending plants shut down. U.S. farmers cut prices by 20%, but orders still went to Alberta, not Kansas. Italy, the land of pasta, followed suit. Once a major U.S. wheat buyer, by 2025, Canada held 45% of its market, with the U.S. at 15%. Canadian durum wheat met specs precisely, arriving as promised. Italy didn't protest, it just stopped buying. Naples and Milan baked with Canadian flour, no headlines needed. Egypt, the world's top wheat importer, once relied on U.S. grain. In 2025, it turned to Russia for cheaper, more reliable supplies. Payment issues, debt, and subsidy pressures made U.S. wheat too costly and uncertain. Cairo rerouted 5 million tons overnight, without calling Washington. Indonesia's noodle market saw a similar shift. U.S. wheat was too pricey, the dollar too strong. Black Sea grain was faster and more flexible, so Indonesia switched quietly. Brazil, once an importer, became a rival. Its southern farms boosted wheat yields by 20% in 2025, exporting to Africa, Asia, and Mexico, shrinking U.S. market share. Germany, with strict standards, found U.S. wheat lacking in compliance. Residue levels and emissions tags didn't meet EU green goals. Buyers turned to Canada instead. In Nigeria, a key flour market, U.S. wheat disappeared, outpriced and outmaneuvered by Russia and even war-torn Ukraine. African buyers signed 5-year deals elsewhere. Back home, U.S. farmers face stark realities. In Montana, some switched to chickpeas. In Washington, fields lie fallow. It's not worth the fuel, one farmer said. Texas co-ops consolidated, small mills closed. Chicago wheat futures dipped below break-even. Insurers hiked rates, subsidies shifted, and farmers were left with empty order books. Grain elevators overflowed, rail cars sat idle, barges skipped routes. Once a global lifeline, U.S. wheat now feeds only storage. A Nebraska farmer, staring at 3,000 unsold acres, said, "The world moved on, we're still here. No anger, just exhaustion. No rallies, just spreadsheets and shrinking profits." The issue isn't just grain, it's trust. Once the world's gold standard, U.S. wheat lost its edge through delays, regulations, residues, and politics. Trust, once broken, doesn't return easily. Buyers want reliability. Clean paperwork, timely ships, no surprises. Canada delivers that, so do Australia and Russia. The world doesn't just need wheat, it needs certainty. From Manila to Cairo, the verdict is clear. It's not about the grain, it's about the risk. Buyers shifted quietly, permanently. The story of 2025 isn't collapse, it's a global pivot, a redirection of loyalty. U.S. wheat is still top tier, but quality isn't enough. The world demands a partner, not a risk. Every crate carries a promise, every canceled order a judgment. To win back buyers, America must deliver predictability, not just harvests. In Kansas, a farmer locks his shed, not quitting, but waiting. For a call, a contract, a buyer that may not return. They used to reach out, he says. Now it's silence. In D.C., trade officials talk market access and subsidies, but farmers raid the soil. They feel the shift in empty bins and silent phones. The problem grew slowly. Missed shipments, renegotiated deals, lost bids. Buyers learned new suppliers, new routes, new trust. They adapted without America and didn't look back. This didn't take embargoes or wars, just enough delays, enough doubt. Markets move quietly, efficiently, permanently. In Bangladesh, U.S. wheat fell to under 2% of imports, replaced by Russia and India. Buyers cited port fees and inconsistent paperwork. It's not quality, one said, it's who delivers on time. In Kenya, a new Nairobi mill runs on Canadian wheat, tracked via blockchain from field to port. U.S. exporters didn't bid. We can't chase documents, a buyer said. In Minnesota, a co-op shuttered its export desk, focusing on local feed instead. We're not out of wheat. The manager said, we're out of trust. Diplomats pitch U.S. Wheat at trade expos in Sao Paulo and Berlin, touting reforms and incentives. Buyers nod but walk away. Talk doesn't fix reliability. A Brazilian trader said, in Los Angeles, grain terminals report decade, low exports. Ships leave half full, hampered by inconsistent permits. In Nigeria, a flour giant signed a 5-year Canadian deal, citing dependable delivery. On Capitol Hill, reports are filed, but in the fields, only movement matters. Grain that ships, contracts that hold. Can America rebuild? It's possible, but it takes more than a good crop. It requires disciplined, consistent shipments, flawless paperwork, steady delivery. Canada's edge isn't magic, it's predictability. U.S. farmers are ready, but the world is cautious. Trust isn't won with speeches or subsidies. It's earned through quiet reliability, one shipment at a time. The fields are full, the combines run, but the orders are thin. The wheat is ready, the market isn't. Hit like and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.